Commitment, day 2. You got to make a decision if you're going to be committed or all you're going to do is be compliant. Remember we talked about yesterday that you can determine whether or not you're committed by where you spend your money and where you spend your time. Well, we want to talk today about time. I want you to look at this or just listen if you don't have the book. From his book, Uncommon Character, Douglas Fevell asked what these people had in common before they became rich and famous. Bill Gates, Andy Grove in computer technology. Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan in sports. Joshua Bell, Itzhak Perlman, Vladimir Horowitz, virtuoso instrumentalist. Lennon McCartney, The Beatles, songwriting and rock band. Bobby Fischer, chess grandmaster. Warren Buffett, outstanding investor. The single answer is that they spent 10,000 hours of practice time to become world-class elite performers in their field. The quote from the book Outliers, the story of success that is the catalyst for the discussion of the rule of 10,000 is as follows. The emerging picture from such studies of highly successful people is that 10,000 hours of practice is required to achieve the level of mastery associated with being a world-class athlete in anything. In study after study of composers, basketball players, fiction writers, ice skaters, concert pianists, chess players, master criminals, and what have you, the number comes up again and again. Of course, this doesn't address why some people get more out of their practice session than others do, but no one yet has found a case in which true world-class expertise was accomplished in less time. It seems it takes the brain this long to assimilate all that it needs to achieve true mastery. Ooh, coach! Are you telling me that if I want to be in the elite, if I want to be a professional athlete, I'm going to have to spend 10,000 hours? Yep. What about a world-class instrumentalist? 10,000 hours. How about a singer, a music aficionado? 10,000 hours. How about an elite lawyer? 10,000 hours. See, now let me ask you this. Think about this for a second. If you took 300 days out of the year, which means it gives you 65 days that you can chill and not do anything, and you took 3 hours a day for 300 days out of a year, that would be 900 hours per year. That would take you a little over 11 years to achieve elite status. Think that's true? Oh, I can assure you that it's true. I had one NFL first-round draft choice in 40 years of coaching football, over 40 years. A young man named Terrence Shaw. Terrence Shaw played JV football his junior year. 5A school in Texas, and he was a JV football player his junior year. And I never made a junior play JV football until I talked to him about the problems it was going to cause. And if he didn't want those, then I would let him be on the varsity, but I didn't want him to complain about not getting to play or anything. And if I heard about it, then I was going to get rid of him. And so I called Terrence in and I said, Terrence, I'm going to play on the JV or I'm going to put you on the varsity. That's your choice. And if I play you on the JV, you're going to catch a lot of flack in the cafeteria. There's going to be a lot of people making fun of you, being one of the few juniors on the JV. And you can be on the varsity, but you probably won't ever get to play. And I don't ever want to hear a complaint out of you. And we're sitting in a little office in Marshall, Texas. And he looks at me, and I mean, just as seriously as he can be, he says, Coach, I can never make it to the NFL and play professional football if I don't play football. So I'll play JV. That was all I could do to keep from being very cryptic and cynical to him and say, NFL? Son, you're not even starting for us. But I didn't say that. I was good. And so he played JV football his junior year. And he got made fun of. And people laughed at him for being a JV player as a junior. Because there were several juniors that chose the route of just being on the varsity. And in the spring of his junior year, I was taking trash up to the Marshall dumpster, using their dumpster for my excess trash. It's 100 degrees in the afternoon. It's a miserable Sunday afternoon in East Texas. And out on the track, there's some kid out there running the hurdles. Right in the heat, humidity of the day, miserable part of the day. So I put the trash away and I go up there and I say, what are you doing? And it's Terrence Shaw. I said, what are you doing? He said, well, Coach Richardson told me if I was going to be a great defensive back, I needed to be more explosive, and the hurdles could teach me speed and explosion. So I come up here every Sunday, and for a couple of hours, I run the hurdles. I said, well, I never knew that. He said, I always put them up, Coach. I always put them back where they belong. Was it an accident? Do you really believe that he became a #1 draft choice of the San Diego Chargers and played in several Super Bowls with Oakland and San Diego and New England? You think that was an accident? Terrence Shaw put in his 10,000 hours. How many people do you really believe were up there on Sunday afternoon running hurdles in order to improve their ability? And in athletics, you can just go over and over every person. You know, there's four sets of knowledge. You don't know you don't know. You do know that you don't know. You know that you don't know. And then the final one is you don't know that you know that you don't know that you know. And that's 10,000 hours. That's the Michael Jordan that goes down the court and makes a move and does something spectacular. And they ask him, how did you do that? He said, I don't know. He looked at, he said, I don't know, I just did it. Because he had spent so much time practicing, spending that 10,000 hours, just became natural. So commitment means time. If you want to be elite, spend 10,000 hours. If you want to be mediocre, spend 3,000 hours. But you're going to have to put the time in to get to where you want to get to. Makes it as simple as it can be. Question number two is, at present age, what reason would you have that would prevent you from becoming elite? This is the same thing Florence Chadwick talked about. What's your fog? What is the fog that's going to prevent you from becoming elite? Well, in the case of Terrence Shaw, I talked about all those kids making fun of him in the cafeteria. You're on the JV. Oh, Terrence plays JV. He don't even play Friday night. He had to hear all that. He had to listen to it. That was a fog. But see, he had in his mind what he wanted to do. He was going to play in the NFL. And he did. Because he spent the 10,000 hours. He didn't let the fog get in his way. He kept his mind on what he was going to do. He knew what he was going to do. He knew what he was going to be. And he kept that vision in his mind. And when they were making fun of him, he just smiled and went on about his business. And then years later, when they named him the best martial athlete in the last decade or whatever, and so many people, one article in the paper said he was really a lucky guy. Lucky? I don't think so. He committed to doing it. Number 3, and I love this, it says, after a performance by the virtuoso violinist, he was approached by a fan who told him that he would do anything to play like that. The violinist replied, no, you wouldn't. What do you think the violinist was referring to? I mean, there's so many people that say, I would do anything to play in the NFL. You got to go up on Sunday and run hurdles. You got to work out an extra hour every day in the weight room. No, I don't want to do that. Then you don't want to do it. You don't have a commitment. If you're committed to doing something, you will spend the time. Today, spend the time committing to do the 3 goals you've got set. I don't know what the 3 are, and it doesn't really matter. If you're going to make a good grade on tests, do your homework, be positive with everybody you see, eat nutritionally, it doesn't matter. But take the time to write down how you're going to do it and make the plan for it. And by doing that, you become the best you that you can be. You become elite because you are the best you can be. And you are the best you can be because you make this a great day. 11:47.